Hi, my name is Shannon. I am a certified yoga instructor, and today we're going to go through a yoga sequence to help loosen tight hips. So these poses are really good to do if you've been working all day, if you've been sitting down for long periods of time, or if you've been traveling, or of course if the hips are just feeling a little cranky and need a little extra TLC. So for today's practice, I recommend having 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have blocks, then you can use a thick book. This will just help to prop the hips up, elongate the spine, and also elevate the ground in some poses to make sure that you're finding maximum comfort and release. So when you're ready, we're going to take a seat on the mat. And you can actually take one of your blocks and you can sit on the block. So that your sits bones are rooted down and the hips are slightly tilted forward. Good. Take a deep inhale here, elongate through the spine, stack your vertebrae one on top of the other. Nice. Now start to move through some body rolls. So taking the torso forward and then back. Nice. You might feel some hip creakiness here. Just starting to get into the hips, lubricating the joints. Nice. Breathing full, deep belly breaths. Starting to wake everything up. Good. Reverse directions with your circles. You can even close the eyes here if that feels good. Good. One more circle. And then coming back to center, you can move the block out of the way. Make our way into hands and knees. So coming into a tabletop position, shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Nice, and then start to move through some cat-cows. So as you inhale, letting your belly drop. As you exhale, letting your spine round. Nice. Moving one breath, one movement here. And then starting to get your hips involved as well. So as you flex and extend the spine, you can also start to move the hips in big circles. Keep breathing full, deep belly breaths. Just releasing here. You can make this fluid. You can make this like a little bit of a dance. Good. Switch directions with your hip circles. Breathing. Lubricating the hip joints. Getting the body a little bit more warm with these bigger motions. And then coming back to a neutral spine. Walk your feet back, coming into a plank, and then make your way into a downward facing dog. So lift your hips here, bend the knees a little bit to help lengthen your vertebrae up towards the ceiling. Then you can start to straighten the legs any amount. The heels can come towards the ground. It's okay if they don't touch. Take an inhale. Exhale, start to walk your feet forward, coming to the top of your mat. So we're going to move through a couple Surya Namaskaras today, some half sun salutations, just to get the blood flowing. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Nice. Inhale, come all the way up. Reach your arms up towards the ceiling. And exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. A couple more rounds just like this. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Good. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Inhale, stand all the way up. Press through your feet as you reach the arms up. And exhale, hands come down. One more time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Nice. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale, fold. Plant your palms down. Step back into a downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, reach your right leg up for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knee, shift forward. Plant your foot in between your hands. Lower your back knee and shin down. You can always pad over the side of your mat for a little extra cushion. And then you can bring your blocks on either side of your front foot. When you're ready, inhale, lift your torso up, coming into Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Your hands can stay on the blocks, or you can bring them up towards your front thigh. Nice. Now, start to bring your focus into the left hip flexor. Noticing by possibly bringing the hips a little more forward, the back hip flexor stretch starts to get a little bit deeper. And when you're ready, inhale, reach your arms up. Nice. Hug your ribs in here and really focus on that back hip flexor stretch. One more inhale. And exhale, plant your palms down. Plant the left hand to the inside of the right foot. As you exhale, start to twist open to the right. Good, you can stay here, or maybe you reach the top arm up. Nice. One more inhale for a lunging twist. Exhale, plant your palm down. Now step your front foot back, come into a plank. From your plank, inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower knees. Lower chest and chin down, squeezing the elbows here until the chest hits the ground. And then dropping your belly down on the mat, untuck your toes. Squeeze the elbows in, lift up for a baby cobra. And then exhale, tuck your toes, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knee, shift forward. Put your foot in between your hands. Nice. Lower your back knee down. You can always pad over the side of your mat. Bringing your blocks in if you'd like to use them. Getting really strong and steady through the back leg. And then when you're ready, you can walk your hands by your thigh. Good, breathing here. Hug your ribs in. And then when you're ready, option to lift the arms up overhead. Notice if you do that, if the ribs start to splay out, can you tuck that in? And then bringing your awareness this time into the right hip flexor. But noticing how the tilt of your pelvis is going to change the stretch in the back hip flexor. One more inhale. And exhale, plant your hands down. Step your front foot back, come into a plank. And then from your plank, option here to lower knees, chest, chin, halfway or all the way down. Inhaling baby cobra, or a full upward facing dog, lifting the tops of the thighs above the mat. Exhale to roll over the toes and come into downward facing dog. Good, breathe here, inhale. And exhale. Nice. Inhale, reach your right leg up for three-legged dog. As you exhale, bend the knee, shift forward, and then bring the knee to the outside, kind of near your armpit. Yeah, now step your foot to the outside of the right hand, coming into a wide lunge. Now drop your back knee down, coming into lizard pose. You can, of course, here pad over the back of your mat as well. Nice. And then just walk your hands about one handprint in front, just to give a little more space for your body. Start to move the right leg in circles. I like to call these juicy hip circles, allowing the hip to really be lubricated in the joint. And then switch directions with your circles. Full deep belly breaths here. And then find some stillness. Take an inhale, broaden through your chest. As you exhale, tap the elbows down. Good. Inhale, lift the chest back up. And exhale, tap. Nice. Inhale, lift it back up. Exhale, tap. Good. One more time. Inhale, lift. This time you can stay up onto your palms, or you can bring a block underneath you, coming down to the forearms for lizard pose, or you can take the block away, bringing your forearms down onto the mat. So getting a nice hip opener here with lizard. Try not to keep any tension in your neck if you can. And just breathe full belly breaths. So pretty deep hip opener here. Notice if you're clenching your jaw or if you're bringing tension into the space between the eyebrows. Try to just release any of that tension you don't need. One more inhale. Exhale, slowly start to walk back up onto your palms if you've come down. And then move your front leg back. You can tuck the back toes and come into a plank. Take an inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower down, knees, chest, chin, halfway or all the way. Inhale, baby cobra, or full upward facing dog. Exhale to press up and back. Down dog. From down dog, inhale, lift the left leg, three-legged dog. As you exhale, left knee is going to come to the left armpit, hover here, and then step your foot to the outside of the left hand. Good. Take a pause. Inhale. And exhale. Drop your back knee down. Of course, you can always pad over the side of your mat for a little extra support. And then walk the hands a little bit in front. Start to move your leg in hip circles. And lubricating the hip joint. Feeling the release. And then switching directions with your hip circles. Nice. Good. Making sure the hands are about one handprint in front, and then we'll do the elbow taps. So inhaling to lengthen through the spine. Exhaling to tap down. Inhale, lift it back up. And exhale, tap. Nice. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tap. One more time. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, tap. This time you can bring the block underneath, resting your forearms down if that feels a little bit more comfortable. You can always remove the block, bringing the forearms down, or you can always stay on the palms. So lots of different varieties for you today, depending on how your hips are feeling. Deep, full belly breaths here. Release any unnecessary tension. Good. One more inhale. Exhale, start to come up onto your palms. And then tuck the back toes. We're going to straighten the back leg, and then we're going to take a giant step forward, coming into a wide-legged squat. Start to sit your hips down, coming into malasana, garland pose. Bringing the hands to your heart. And then think about lifting up through your chest. Good. Using the elbows here to just gently guide the knees, getting that big hip stretch. Full deep belly breaths here. Notice if you're holding any tension in your body that you don't need. A smile is always really helpful, especially in these deep hip openers. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to stand it all the way up into a star pose. So pressing through the feet, keeping the legs wide, reach the arms up, and then exhale, bring the hands to your heart. Nice. We're going to fold forward into a wide-legged straddle. So Just depending on how your body is positioned, if you need to go a little wider, you totally can. Bring the hands onto your hips. Take an inhale, lengthen through your chest. Exhale, start to tilt the pelvis forward. I like to have my feet a little bit inward for this. So if your feet were pointed outward, maybe pivot your toes inward slightly. So a little pigeon toed here. And then fold all the way forward. Good, shake the head, release tension in the neck. And then just start to sway side to side, lubricating the hips. Good, releasing any tension. Breathing deep here. Good, and then planting the palms down, step back into a downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Then we're going to make our way into a pigeon pose. So an alternative for pigeon pose, if pigeon doesn't feel good on your hips or your knees, is you can come down onto your back, crossing the right leg over the left leg, coming into a figure four position. So it's a really great alternative to pigeon pose if you're not feeling it today. If you're coming into pigeon, you'll reach your right leg up for three-legged dog. Exhale, bend your knee, shift forward, plant your right knee by your right wrist. And then extending your back leg, planting the top of the foot on the mat. Good, so your front leg, the shin is going to be somewhere between a 90 and 45 degree angle. If you're closer to the 90-degree angle, you'll want to flex your front foot. And then your blocks. You can take one block and you can place it underneath the sitting bone of the folded leg. And then you can take your other block and you can place it underneath the forehead. Good, broaden through the chest. Take an inhale. Exhale. Fold forward any amount here. You can place your hands, your forearms on the block, or you can even rest your forehead here. Just settling in for sleeping pigeon. Taking it as far as feels safe and comfortable for your hips. And then finding a few rounds of deep breaths here. Noticing how this hip is feeling. And always coming back to the breath when the mind gets distracted. Good, one more inhale. And exhale, slowly start to come up. We'll come back into downward facing dog. You can move your blocks out of the way. Tucking the back toes, moving the right leg back. Pedal out the feet. Just get the blood flowing back in the leg after that juicy hip opener. And then we'll move into the other side. If you're on your back, you'll cross your left leg over your right leg. If you are coming into pigeon, inhale to sweep the left leg up. Exhale, bend the knee, shift forward, plant the foot, plant the whole shin, and then extend the back leg. Good, placing the top of your foot down on the mat, extending through your spine here. And then grabbing hold of a block, making sure it's nearby so you can place it underneath the sitting bone of the left leg. And broaden through your chest, take an inhale. As you exhale, start to fold forward. The hands and forearms can come down to the block, or you can rest your forehead down. Just having it support you, so this is elevating the ground a little bit. That can make pigeon pose a little more accessible, allowing your weight to be heavy here. And then just noticing if this side feels any different from the other side. A lot of times we'll have one hip that is a little bit tighter than the other hip, so just noticing if that's the case for you. Noticing without judgment. Good, full deep breaths. Nice, and then slowly starting to come up. And moving into downward facing dog one final time. Move the props over to the side. Pedaling out your feet. Bending one knee. And then the other knee. Letting the blood come back down through the leg. And then making your way to a seat on your mat. You're welcome to sit back on a block and make our way into seated bound angle pose. So touching the soles of your feet together, letting the knees drop open to the sides. You can place your hands on the knees here, lengthening through your chest. So you can inhale. As you exhale, you can start to fold forward and down. Just deepening the hip opening here. Again, full deep belly breaths, allowing the oxygen to really be recirculated here. Letting your breath soothe you. Letting it help guide your focus. And tapping into that rest and digest system. Alleviating anxiety and stress. And then slowly starting to come back up. And close the legs here. And then remove the block. And just gonna come down onto the mat into a quick shavasana. So lowering down, first hugging both knees into your chest just to reset the hips and the spine. And when you're ready, you can lower the legs down to the mat, allowing your palms to face up. And just breathing here. And spend as much time in shavasana as you have. Maybe it's 5 minutes. Maybe it's 10 minutes. Set a timer. Press pause on the video. You can let go of any breath here that was regulated or controlled, allowing your body to be heavy. We can release a lot in the hips, so taking the time after to regulate and slow down and rest be really important. And if you're able to stay for more time, free to do so. Otherwise, when you're ready, we'll start to bring movement into your fingers and toes, bending the knees, bending the feet down on the ground, pulling over onto one side, and then pressing yourself up. Coming to a comfortable seat on your mat, you're welcome to sit back up on that block. And just noticing how different your body feels after taking the time to release the hips. You may also notice that the low back has more space and is feeling less tight. So, this is a great practice to come back to after a long day. And I hope that it has allowed you to find more space, more release. And I'll see you again on the mat soon.